One of the most common questions I get from card makers is what inks to start out with. They want to start stamping or start ink blending, and they don't know which inks to start with. There are a lot of beautiful inks out there, but if you're really just starting out in card making and you just need some inks to get you started, the Rainbow Splash collection from Simon Says Stamp is a great place to start. So that's what I'm going to be using in today's video. Hi everyone, I'm Mindy Eggen and welcome to my channel. Now, I'm going to be using the inks today with a stencil, and this is the Snowflakes Stripe Stencil from Simon Says Stamp. It creates this beautiful layered look behind a snowflake. I do have a couple more examples that I'm going to be sharing at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around. This stencil is actually a three-piece stencil, and my examples do share the third layer of the stencil, but for today's project, I'm just going to be using the two stencils. So you can see it is broken up so we can have either one color on one stencil or you can do almost four different colors. So I'm actually going to be doing four different colors for my background. I'm starting out with Hammermill Cardstock that I placed onto the Craft Tacky Mat. So that mat is holding my cardstock in place and also it's going to hold my stencil in place. You can see how the stencil has some very delicate areas around it, and that tacky mat really helps hold that down for me. So I centered my snowflake as best as I thought I was doing at the time. I'm going to end up trimming it down, but for right now, I feel it is pretty centered. And I'm going to start with that top open area using Scarlet ink. Now, this ink is part of the Rainbow Splash collection. It is a quick drying ink, it is a dye-based ink, and they are foam pads, and they are very saturated. There are also re-inkers available for this. Now, one of the reasons that I'm sharing this with you today is I've had these inks for a while. I've used them before, but it's been a little while. Quick note, I'm moving on to Emerald ink for that second open area of the stencil. Now, with these inks, what I kind of rediscovered is how vibrant they are. I kind of have forgotten that. They just provide a really solid color. They do dry back once they are dried, so it kind of dries back a little bit. For instance, emerald isn't going to be quite that dark, but they are beautiful classic colors. I'm just peeling up the stencil really quick here, and I'm going to place my next layer, which is going to fit right over or mask over those ink blended areas. Really pay attention to your snowflakes because I'm going to call them the arms of the snowflake. If you don't have those lined up correctly, it is going to show kind of an offset on your snowflake. So keep an eye on those arms of the snowflake. Again, now with the Rainbow Splash collection, they have quite a variety of colors available, kind of in your classic colors. These inks are great for stamping. They are great for ink blending, of course, because that's what I love to do. So that's one of the things I like to look for when I'm looking at ink pads. As I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of great inks out there. If you've seen my channel, you've seen me use a variety of inks. But if you're just kind of getting started, this is a great collection to start with. Now, that first color I did here on the second layer of the stencil was Ballet, and this next one is going to be Lime. So I'm going for some very kind of classic Christmas colors. That's kind of the mood I've been in lately with my Christmas card making is just some real classic colors. Now, when these dry, they are just stunning. I really was kind of surprised. I'm going to make sure these find a permanent home on my desk so they stay out and I can use them more. Now, I am going to go ahead and remove my cardstock from that tacky mat. I just use my pick and stick tool to help get it started. But if you find your cardstock is sticking a little too well to the mat, you can just pick up your tacky mat and kind of bend it to help get that cardstock off. Now here I just wanted to show you, this is the third layer of the stencil. So if you wanted to add another color to color in your snowflake or maybe use some pastes, that's what the third layer of the stencil is for. I'm going to move on and leave it white though, but be sure to stick around to the end to see my other examples where I use that third layer. I want to trim my panel down, so I have a sentiment picked out to figure out where I wanted to place it. And then I'm using the Waffle Flower A2 layers die. It's a rectangle set that is going to trim that panel out for me. I just held that down with some low tack tape, so it trimmed it out to this smaller size. Then I'm adding another piece of cardstock cut to about the same size to go behind my blended panel and add a little bit of stability behind there. I couldn't resist adding some splatters. So I have Unravelled in the Distress Mica stain, and then I'm also going to bring in Frozen Fog. With the mica stains, you want to make sure that you're shaking them up really, really well so there's nothing settled on the bottom. And then I am just taking the whole top off and using the, I guess, what are we going to call it? Not the nozzle, but the part that goes in the bottle. I'm just using that to add the splatters. And it is gorgeous. The Frozen Fog is like a silver, and Unravelled is kind of like a champagne. It is really gorgeous. So while that is drying, I'm going to work on my sentiment, and I am using a small sentiment from the Peaceful Trees stamp set. Now, I'm going to have all of my supplies listed down below in the video description and also on my blog. And if anything is out of stock at any point, make sure to click the Notify Me button on the website so that you're notified when it is restocked and you can get your hands on these amazing sets. I stamped my sentiment in a Versafine ink and then I die cut it out with the coordinating die. And I also went through and used the rest of that cardstock to die cut out 3 more layers using the coordinating die. And I'm going to layer that up using my Gina K Designs Connect glue that I have in a fine tip bottle. So this is going to help add dimension and pop this up from the front of my card. I flip my stenciled panel over and I'm going to add some Altenew foam tape behind there to pop that up just a little bit more. And then I have a card front created out of white cardstock that is cut to 4¼ by 5½. So I really love that nice thick white border and it ties in to my snowflake that I left open there. Then I can take my sentiment, add some more of the liquid glue, and place that kind of right in the center of the snowflake. I wonder now if maybe I should have tilted it. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Should I have tilted this one or is it fine straight on like that? Either way, here is the finished card project. And then I do have 2 more cards that I want to share with you, but I hope this gives you a great introduction to how beautiful the Rainbow Splash colors are and what a great starter set they are. Now here is another card that I created. This one, I used that 3rd layer of the stencil and I added some gold glitter paste in there. I think that one actually might be from Simon Hurley. That might be his paste. So this one, I die cut it so the snowflake is more coming in off of the side of the card. And then I finished it off with a sentiment from the Big Holiday Words stamp set. And then this next card, I did leave off the 3rd layer of the stencil, but you can see I kind of changed the orientation of the snowflake once again and finished this one off with another greeting from the Big Holiday Words bundle. All of these cards are using those same exact colors that I used in my video today. Again, everything will be linked down below in the video description. If you enjoyed today's inspiration, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell so you are notified when new videos are posted. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I will see you again soon.